For this semester's project, I explored Honore de Balzac's Le Pere Goriot. Pictured here is my first selected print edition. It happened to be also the first print edition of Le Pere Goriot by itself. I will get into that later, but this edition shown is from 1835. Some biographical details about Honore de Balzac. He was born in 1799 in France. He idolized Napoleon Bonaparte, and he generally wrote historical fiction. Critics also coined the term romantic social realism to describe his work and the themes present within his work. Some of those happen to be romantic relationships with much older women and father-son, mother-son relationships. Le Pere Goriot is an excellent example of his romantic social realism. There is an incorporation of themes of parent-child relationships, poverty versus wealth, and rebellion. What follows are the title page transcriptions of 6 editions, 3 print and 3 digital. My first selected print edition, a scan of what you saw on the first title slide, is from 1835, and it is the first time that Le Pere Goriot was printed by itself, in a volume by itself. It is part, more recently has become part of Les Œuvres Complètes, or the complete works of Honore de Balzac, or La Comédie Humaine, or the human comedy that, that Balzac created later in life. And here's a larger photo of that. My second selected print edition is a more modern version. It is from 1998, and it was published in New York City by Norton Company, a well-known publisher in the United States. Despite the title being in French, Pere Goriot, it is an English translation. Incorporated in this edition are extra features. We have criticisms, literary responses, and bibliographical resources. And here is a scan of that page. My third selected print edition is from Les Œuvres Complètes de Honore de Balzac. In other words, this is from his collection of his complete works from throughout his life. It's from 1931, so it was definitely printed posthumously. He died in 1850, and it also is worthy to note that the illustrations of this edition were by Charles Roy. Now, this edition, 1931, is definitely not the first edition of Les Œuvres Complètes, and I will get to that in a moment. And here is a scan of that page, and you can see one of the woodcut illustrations by Roy here with a bee on a flower. And my digital editions. The first 2 that I will discuss were actually found via Google. Google.com didn't really provide too many results in the French language. They were very difficult to find, so I tried Google.fr and their equivalent to Google Books, Google Livre, and I found 2 great resources. There were PDFs of earlier editions of Le Pere Goriot, not as early as 1835, but here we have one from 1885. And the copy of that title page. And the second digital edition is from 1856, which is earlier than the previous one, but here it is mentioned that it is part of Les Œuvres Complètes. But instead of the final print edition title page that I mentioned, where it just says Les Œuvres Complètes without mentioning Le Pere Goriot, this one actually says both. It says Œuvres Complètes, but then it mentions Le Pere Goriot as part of Scènes de la vie parisienne. And here is a copy of that. And my third selected digital edition comes from Project Gutenberg, a well-known free ebook resource. This is an English translation again. It's Father Goriot. Even here the title is not in the original French. Ellen Mariage was the translator for this. And here is an excerpt from taken directly from Gutenberg.org. And the translator even translated Balzac's dedication into English, so we could enjoy that as well. And here are some scans of title pages of several bibliographical resources that I consulted while studying this title. The two that I found to be the most useful were and you see, and here we have the pre-1956 imprints, and then also the Catalogue Général de la Librairie Française. I did consult several editions of this from 1886 through 1918, and with each year, there were more titles of Balzac that were added. And here are excerpts from what I found in the Catalogue Général from 1886, 1901, and 1915, respectively. In the 1886 edition, there were few Balzac titles, but we have Œuvre complète by publisher C. Lévy. I did find editions from this publishing house, but here it shows that it was first published in 1876. This might be the first edition. We have here that Œuvre complète by C. Lévy again from 1891 to 92. And then once again we have another Œuvre complète by the publishing house Gonard from 1912. And onto the physical requirements of this exhibit. I had suggested that we need approximately 25 square feet of floor space in order to set up displays for books. We would have special collection. We would be working with special collections at Kent, and I would say we should allow for about 1 month for this exhibit because titles by Balzac, it's kind of a very specialized literary interest. And what we hope to accomplish by this exhibit is exposing students, faculty, and staff to influences of modern classical languages and their literature, including the French language, English language, etc. And then also we want to encourage visitors to library building and reiterate the importance of the Special Collections Department within the university. Here are some other select works. These are some of the more popular works, especially Eugénie Grandet. And all of these can be found within the title of Les Œuvres complètes de la Comédie Humaine. And here's a brief bibliography of other works about Honore de Balzac, mostly found in print or in journals. We have books or journal articles, and then also I will be putting on my exhibit page several other titles that I referred to within my research this semester. Thank you.